Yeah, I think you're right. I think that one of the biggest deterrents for people is still the vast criminal disinformation, misinformation, propaganda, spin doctrine that is being espoused largely by a group of individuals that I refer to as the Church of Anorexia Vegana. A group of individuals who want to promote a plant-based diet because they don't even have enough belief in themselves to even say vegan anymore because of the negative connotations of because of the way vegans behave, basically. So now they're saying plant-based, and also a lot of them are adding some animal foods in there because actually you cannot thrive and do well without plant foods in your diet. It is impossible. A vegan diet is vastly, grossly destitute of nutrient required on a daily basis by human beings. And they have the gall to suggest, number one, that meat will cause cancer, for which there is absolutely no scientific evidence in existence of any nature whatsoever in the literature, never has been and never will be. It is a lie. It is propaganda. They will say saturated fat is bad for you. No, it isn't. We've been living on saturated fat almost exclusively for 4.5 million years. We are absolutely geared for it. It is absolutely the design of our bodies to gain the vast majority of our energy from saturated fat of animals. No, it's not bad for you. They'll say it'll give you heart disease. It'll clog your arteries. No. Let's do an experiment at home, shall we? Get some saturated animal fat, put it in a container, which you then put that container in a bath of water at 37 degrees Celsius. What you'll find is that saturated fat will liquefy at that temperature, absolutely. Now what I'd like you to do is get a tube like that and try and clog that tube up with that liquid saturated fat, which is very, very slippery. Good luck. Okay, that's not going to happen. Yes, but saturated fat raises your cholesterol. Great. Cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease either. There is no evidence for that. There never has been any evidence for that. It's the same propaganda. It's the same spin doctrine. It's the same ridiculous nonsense. Science that proves cause and effect is experimental. You have to, if you want to prove that saturated fat or cholesterol causes heart disease, here's what you have to do. You have to take genetically identical sets of twins at birth, a large number of sets of twins because you need statistical power. You need to lock those twins, one in one lab, one in another lab. You need to have the conditions in those labs absolutely identical down to every single factor. Hours of light, color of light, wavelengths of light, waking and sleeping hours, activity levels, every single aspect of the diet except for the intake of cholesterol, etc., 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 etc. And you need to do that for their entire lives to see which one dies quicker than the other one of heart disease. Good luck getting that past an ethics committee. You're not going to get that past an ethics committee. And if you do get it past an ethics committee, number one, what's wrong with that ethics committee? Because they shouldn't allow that. And number two, where the hell are you going to get the money to fund that study? Number three, the practicalities of that make it prohibitive. We're not going to do any science on cholesterol or saturated fat anytime, ever. It's not going to happen. What we have is ideology. We have a thing called epidemiology, which is a pseudoscience of the highest order when you're talking about the epidemiology of human nutrition. Other branches of epidemiology, much more robust. Nutritional epidemiology, absolute garbage from start to finish. Yeah. And I'm speaking now as both a professor of cardiovascular pathophysiology and also a professor of statistics and statistical inference, okay? So you can put this in the bank. It is garbage. Nonsense. So there's no evidence whatsoever linking causally saturated fat or cholesterol with heart disease in a cause and effect nature. You can relax about that. It is absolute rubbish. It's propaganda. It's fear-mongering. It's designed to get you to comply with our edict as high priests of the Church of Anorexia Vegana. Eat plants. Don't eat animals. Plants are good. Animals are bad. Okay? That's all they've got. That's their entire argument. And then also things like blue zones, though, which is another associative mishmash, another ill-disciplined bunch of non-scientific claptrappery to try and convince you that it is so. You know, basically this is stuff that's designed to prey on people who don't have the confidence in themselves or the exposure to scientific discipline, training in scientific discipline, to point to the flaws and go, hang on, Charlie Brown, just a minute here. So yeah, relax about all of that stuff. That's the biggest problem that we're up against. That's basically what my channel's all about. My channel really is all about making videos responding to these, I'm going to call them criminals, because they are absolute criminal misanthropists, making videos about how saturated fat's bad and cholesterol's bad and eating meat is bad and will kill you and all this kind of stuff. And I do a sort of point-wise, you know, pause and respond point-wise type video thing. It's called Who's Wrong on the Interwebs often. So that's kind of my bread and butter on my main YouTube channel.